Hello, please make yourself comfortable. Take a deep breath. This is our space for listening. Therapy Room Stories. Today, I don't just want to tell you a story. I want you to walk with me through the corridors of the minds of three people who decided to redesign the very concept of family. Often, in my practice, I meet people who live lives that look perfect on the outside, but who carry an abyss within. Today, we're going to talk about what happens when that abyss is filled by a feeling that doesn't have a name in traditional manuals. We are talking about the transition from a conventional marriage to a unit of three. No names, no geographical borders, just the raw material of the human soul, the conflict between who we were taught to be and who we discovered ourselves to be. Imagine growing up hearing that love is a scarce resource, that it can only be shared between two people. For the protagonist of this story, this idea was absolute dogma. She was shaped by a belief system where desire for someone of the same sex was seen as a moral failure or something to be fought with all one's might. The suffering of someone in this position is silent and devastating. It is the feeling of being at war with your own body. She loved her partner, a man of integrity, her companion for a lifetime. But upon meeting a new person at work, a new vibrational frequency emerged. What she felt wasn't a replacement, it was an expansion. Imagine the anguish of trying to fight a feeling, praying for it to go away, only to realize that this very feeling made her feel more alive and authentic than ever before. Now let's look at the other side of the coin, the original partner. What happens to a person's mind when their spouse confesses a desire to include a third person? In most cases, the ego screams. Jealousy arises as a defense mechanism against the profound fear of loss. In this story, however, something rare happened. Curiosity replaced judgment. But it wasn't a simple path. For him, the suffering lay in the uncertainty. He questioned if he was enough or where he would fit in if the two of them were self-sufficient. This is the dilemma of those who choose to open the doors of their relationship. There is an immense fragility in allowing your partner to be authentic, knowing that this authenticity could change everything you once knew as security and stability. And then we have the third person, someone who enters a story that has already been written for years. The suffering of those in this position is often that of invisibility. In the beginning, it might feel like a journey of freedom, but soon, practical and emotional questions arise. Who am I when they close the bedroom door? Do I have a voice in the household decisions? Am I a parent or just a long-term guest? Living in a trio requires an emotional maturity that few people possess. It is what we call radical communication. There is no room for the unsaid. Suffering here is born from the fear of being the weakest link, the first to be discarded if the pressures of the world become unbearable. Yet the greatest challenge, curiously, is rarely found inside the home. It is outside. The world accepts hidden betrayal, it accepts bitter divorce, and it accepts contained unhappiness. But the world has an enormous difficulty accepting happiness that doesn't follow the handbook. These people face what we call minority stress. It's having to explain to family members that the new person isn't just a visitor, but part of the family core. It's dealing with the judgment and even the aggression of those who feel offended by the very existence of this arrangement. Social suffering is an open wound. It is the fear of how the world will treat the children of this union. When a child is born into this context, the responsibility triples, as does the love. But the stigma is still a weight they must carry every day. At the school gates, on official documents, and in the curious stares of the neighbors. As a therapist, what I learned from stories like this is that normality is a social convention, not an absolute truth. I learned that healthy families are not defined by the number of people involved, but by the quality of the dialogue, the respect for individual boundaries, and the courage to be honest in the face of fear. Suffering diminishes when we stop trying to fit into boxes that are too small for our souls. If you are in a moment of transition, or if you feel that your love has no place in the world, Know that your mental health depends on your ability to be true to yourself before being true to the expectations of others. If this reflection has brought you some clarity or touched your heart, I would be very happy if you could like this video. It helps the algorithm understand that this is a space of acceptance and not of judgment. Please subscribe to the Therapy Room Stories channel so we can continue exploring the complexities of the human soul together. Share this video with someone who might need to hear a message of understanding and freedom today. Comment below. Do you believe love can truly be multiplied without losing its essence? I would love to read your thoughts. Thank you for being here. Until our next story.